Hey everybody, welcome back to Crypto News, the YouTube channel where we bring you news about crypto. Today is December 8th on a Thursday, and I just have one piece of news that I would like to share with you guys today. Bitcoin Rainbow indicator consolidates at lowest point as BTC aims to reclaim 17K. Now Bitcoin is right under 17K. So the maiden cryptocurrency has been consolidating in recent weeks, mainly categorized by sideways price movement as investors look for possible indicators likely to define the next price action. In this line, Bitcoin Center's Rainbow Price Chart is one of the tools investors use to monitor the prospects of Bitcoin's price. The tool leverages color bands that follow a logarithmic regression and reviews past performances to provide a potential insight into its long-term movements. As of December 7th, yesterday, this is only a day old, the Rainbow Chart Bitcoin indicator had hit the lowest point under the basically a fire sale level represented by the color blue. The asset has been consolidating at this position, having been stuck in the zone for several weeks. Now, this is the Rainbow Bitcoin chart that is being described in this article. As you can see, here's a rainbow, and here are the colors of what each color means. All the way from red is at the very top of this rainbow, maximum bubble territory, to the middle to where it's yellow and orange, from HODL as yellow and in this bubble as orange, and then down to the blue. There's two different kinds of blues. A lighter blue, more like a turquoise color, is pretty much a buy, and the actual blue part, basically a fire sale, which is pretty interesting. This is only one of the tools that investors use to indicate if there's going to be any kind of major price movement or just to see what Bitcoin is at any given time, at least in the past. Now, I do know that this chart does get updated from time to time, and I'll try to mention that in a couple of minutes from now. But until then, this is where the Bitcoin is at right now, and it's pretty much right barely in the blue part where it says basically a fire sale. Now, if you notice, Bitcoin does have a halving event, and the Bitcoin halving event means a Bitcoin halving event occurs when the reward for mining Bitcoin transactions is cut in half. Halvings reduce the rate at which new coins are created and thus lower the available amount of new supply even as demand increases. So each halving event, and if you notice, back in right before 2013, late 2012, there was a halving event, and by this chart, it looks like as soon as it has happened, it rallied. Not once, but I like to say twice, but in the pro advanced investors' eyes would see it only rallied once, and it reached up all the way up to the red part up here. And then in the second halving, it was in the blue line band, in the fire sale. It took a little bit of time, but it definitely got its momentum and it rallied. Now this takes course of a couple of months to a couple of years. This isn't overnight, but in the third halving event, it did drop down dramatically to hit the blue band, and then it gradually went up, and then it rallied in the last part. And if you look here, we haven't had our fourth halving event, and yet we are still we are just barely touching the blue part of it, which indicates, according to this chart, we are already at the bottom or we are close to the bottom. Back between 2015 to mid 2016, it was in the blue band for quite some time. And back in 2012 to 2013, it played a little bit in the blue bands for several months, and then it rallied. It was in here for a long time, and then it rallied. Here, in 2020, it didn't quite hit that part. It didn't quite hit the blue band. It probably only barely touched it, and it rallied. And right here, we're barely in it, and we look like we still do have some time, at least another 2 years before it gets to the halving events. And then once it hits 2024, maybe mid-2024, maybe in the summer, it has a potential move to the upside. So according to this chart, we might be early enough to accumulate and gather our funds to potentially buy a lower dip, but that's only one time to tell. It could definitely barely touch this blue band part and then go up back into the green part, which like it did here back in 2020. So I feel like this part right here is a little important to mention. Besides the downfall from the FTX crypto exchange collapse, investors will be watching the inflation data set for December 13th or the CPI report, indicating if the government is going to raise the inflation rate or not. December 13th, that is next Tuesday from today. Considering that part of BTC's poor performance has been tied to the prevailing microeconomic factors. So, pretty interesting stuff. Here is the blockchaincenter.net website. This is what it looks like. If you want to look into it a little bit further and a little bit more in detailed. But if you scroll down here in the tools and charts area, here is the Bitcoin Rainbow chart. If you click on that, this is the Bitcoin Rainbow chart old. This is the old Bitcoin Rainbow chart, and if you can see here, Bitcoin went under the blue color band, which, like I said earlier in my video, it does get adjusted. If you notice at this red bar right here, it says here is the new Bitcoin Rainbow chart. If you click to that, it brings you to the chart that I showed you in the article. And right here, oh, well, it does that whenever you hover over it. But if you look up right above my cursor arrow, Bitcoin is barely right in the blue color band, which is pretty important to know because, like I said earlier in the video, it could go down from where it is right now, from about 16,800 to all the way down to maybe right around 10,000, maybe, depending if the CPI report comes out positive or negative, I guess to say, if it's going to go down, or if any other black swan events happen, like another exchange, like another FTX goes down. This isn't financial advice. This is just a tool that investors use to help guide them through Bitcoin's process, and to see if there's going to be a major rally or maybe a potential upside or potential downside in price action. So definitely take this with a grain of salt. But according to this chart, the fourth halving event is right after 2024, which is less than another 2 years. So we still might have time to accumulate as much crypto, I guess, in general, definitely for Bitcoin, until the next halving event. And then, like it shows here on this chart, whenever there is a halving event, there's been major positive price action to the upside or rally right here. Halving, rally. Halving, took a little bit, but rally. Halving, it had a stumble to the downside compared to the other times it had a halving. But once it did it, 69,000. So this is just news. You should definitely do what you can if you're thinking about buying. Take account on your position, what's going on in your life, if you have money to throw down. Either way, the CPI, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, releases the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, data monthly. And the next report will be December 13th of 2022. So yeah, either way, that's all I got time for you guys. I hope this is helpful, and I hope this guides you through your journey in crypto. That's all I got. I'll see you in my next video.